This year, I'm literally starting to save from zero, which isn't the most fun position to find yourself, especially when you consider that I look at personal finance, ways to save, how to do more with your money every single day as my literal job. Hi, I'm Louise Bastock, a personal finance expert at Finder, and welcome to Live, Laugh, Money. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about how I'm going to be saving in 2025. I think that this is a journey that a lot of people have to go on. Saving money, spending their savings, starting again in life. It's very typical. We all have to do it. And your money journey is just not like a linear thing. I think we all hope that it goes up and up and up. Every year you earn more, you save more, but that's just not how life works. 2 years ago, I bought my first home, which was amazing. And you end up getting rid of a whole load of your savings, right? You've got your deposit, you've got all the stuff you might have saved up for furniture. You're now paying a mortgage and bills, and things are inevitably a lot more expensive than you think, even if you do quite a thorough budget for them. So I bought my first place, brilliant, loved it, drained my savings. Then in my first year of home ownership, I started to build them up again. And I was feeling like I was in a really good place. I was really proud of myself for having kind of recouped what I had spent on the house. Well, definitely not as much, but you know, a nice amount where I was starting to feel more confident again and a little bit more safe in my financial situation. Then at the beginning of 2024, all hell broke loose. How did it start? My fridge broke, then my washing machine broke, then my boiler broke, then once I had sorted all of that stuff out, that was the first half of the year. And then over the summer, my flat started pouring rain into the downstairs flat. And when we started stripping back the walls, that's right, literally going into the walls, we found that my whole bathroom plumbing was a complete mess. And that pretty much my entire bathroom needed to be fixed and redone. Now, any savings that I had saved up the year before, all of that like little pot that I was so proud of, immediately gone. Had to spend it all for all of these big ticket items that I now had to buy. And they literally were the most essential things. You can't live without a fridge, a washing machine, a boiler, and a bathroom. And I went for 2 months without having a shower in my own home. So I really do know that you cannot live without a bathroom. And I think everyone around me really does know that you can't live without a bathroom. It was pretty brutal and didn't leave me feeling fantastic. But I've decided that my big money goal for this year is saving. So the way I'm going to save this year, I'm going to kind of pocket my savings into 3 different pots. So the first one is day-to-day essential expenses, as well as any unexpected repairs I might come across. The other is fun money, because let's be honest, you have to live, and the way you get through rubbish times is by seeing your friends, having a little bit of fun. You can even do that on the cheap, like it doesn't have to be a lot of money, but I want to save for maybe a nice holiday this year or a nice treat for myself. So that's in there as well. And my third pot is going to be for my emergency fund. If there's one thing 2024 taught me, it is the value of having an emergency fund, not only for unexpected repairs, really expensive items that you need to buy, but also so you can take on a bit more risk in life. You can have a bit more fun, and just knowing that there's this fund there that's going to catch you if something happens. So I'll tell you a little bit about each. Basically, for my day-to-day expenses, I am super on it with these. I really break out every single thing I need to pay for and save for it individually. So I look at all kind of the day-to-day things I need to spend. So I've got my bills, so that's my electricity, my water, my phone bill, my internet, all of that goes into one pot. I save for my car every month as well. So that will be, I save enough to cover my insurance, any unexpected repairs, the MOT every year, the tax, everything that needs to go into my car every year, I save that into a separate pot. I also save for my hobbies. So some of the things I do, even going to the gym, that's a monthly subscription. All of that goes into a separate pot. Haircuts, clothes, all of those essential things you need to do, that also goes into a separate pot. It sounds kind of crazy. And I'm not saying that hundreds of pounds is going to each of those pots. It may be 25 quid here, £50 here. But the way I have to break it out into those pots just really helps give me peace of mind knowing that I have got every single thing covered. And it also makes me feel a lot less guilty when I'm spending the money. Like, I appreciate a haircut, for example, could be like considered a luxury. But at the end of the day, we all need to do some level of self-care, some level of self-maintenance. And I never want to get to the point where I've got no money to go and get a haircut, or I'm feeling guilty for spending like 60 quid getting a haircut. Also, why a women's haircut so expensive? That needs to change. Anyway, so by separating everything out into their specific pots, I don't feel guilty spending that money because that is what it is there for. It's clear, it's in front of me, it's a good reminder. With that pot of fun money, I'll be totally honest with you here, I use my side hustles to cover that. So in the evenings, I do stand-up comedy, side gig, and I get paid for those gigs. So I will put all of that money into a separate pot. I also do a bit of freelance presenting and a bit of freelance writing. All of that, all of the money I earn from my freelance jobs, my side hustles, that goes into a separate pot. Now, I obviously keep a lot of that to pay my taxes at the end of the year. And then the rest of it becomes my fun money. So I feel like I work really hard. I've got my full-time job. I've got my side hustles. So I love using those side hustles and I love having the motivation behind them as like, that's my money for my holidays or, you know, a big night out or something like that. So yeah, I appreciate not everyone is earning a little extra money on the side, but that is personally how I'm getting my fun money throughout the year. So for all of those things, what I like to do is I work out my goal, I work out the target amount for each, divide it by 12, and then every month I just put that money aside. I just think it's a really helpful way of knowing what you're saving for and making sure you have enough. Now, my big money goal, which is saving that emergency fund, I actually did the calculation for that the other day, and I was hoping to do it in 1 year, but I just don't think that's going to happen. So it's recommended by personal finance experts that you should save 3 months living expenses as your emergency fund. Now, a sort of modest look at mine worked out to be about 7.5 grand. What am I spending my money on? That obviously includes my mortgage, my bills, all that sort of stuff. Now, I worked out that if I wanted to save that in a year, I would need to save like over £600 a month, which is a considerable amount of money. And so probably that's not going to happen within 1 year. And initially it did really like put me off. I was just thought, I'm definitely one of those people, if I can't do it in a short-ish amount of time, I'm just gonna like give up. But I just thought, no, like let me see, can I save £300 a month? In which case it's gonna take me 2 years. Just like breaking it down into smaller, more manageable chunks is gonna see you actually achieve your goal. And that is why it's so valuable to like cut the bullshit and actually just do the maths, sit down and work out your sums. Because I was like, oh yeah, I can easily save an emergency fund in a year. And actually I looked at it and what's reasonable is gonna take me 2 years. I'm not gonna do it in a year. So yeah, you've got to be realistic. You've got to be like tough on yourself. Otherwise, just sort of guesstimating is, yeah, you're not going to have enough saved. You're not going to get where you need to go unless you earn like crazy amounts of money and your guesses are like wild, and which good for you. So yeah, I think those are the 3 pots I'm saving for this year. And those are kind of some of my strategies behind it. Some of it might seem really simple, but like I say, it really is just like sitting down with yourself and being honest. One thing I thought I really wanted to share was a lot of my learnings from last year, because it was a really, really, really tough year for me financially. And one I can look back on and be super proud I got through, but yeah, I still feel kind of rubbish knowing that like my savings are gone. One of the biggest things I struggled with is actually even spending my money, spending my savings. You get so used to seeing that money in your bank account, and it is devastating when you see it go on, even on essentials like buying a new fridge or a washing machine. You just feel more at ease knowing that money is there. And I remember speaking to my sister about this, and she had to constantly remind me, that is what your savings are for. You have specifically saved for these things. That is what that money is for. Don't feel guilty about spending it. Don't get demoralized for spending it. And that's where I really think it's helpful to give your savings a name so that you don't feel guilty dipping into it. If it's like home repairs savings pot, that's what that's for. And it might just help get it into your brain that like that money is to be spent on that thing. Another thing I learned is that your money journey is not linear. We have an expectation in life, not just with money, I think with everything, bigger and better every year. More. I want a higher salary. I want, a bigger house, a better car. Life is just way messier and way more unpredictable than that. And I felt really demoralized and kind of, just felt like maybe I wasn't good with money. Like where had I gone so wrong? And actually, that's just life. Like last year was a real spending year. I had to get my bathroom fixed. I had to get all these new big ticket items. This year will be a savings year. It's important to reassess your goals every year and make sure that you're being reasonable. If you're about to get married or you get a dog or you have a baby, like your finances are probably going to take a hit from all of those things. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do these things. That just means that was a priority this year over saving or earning or whatever it is. I think it's really important to stop and take a moment to appreciate what you've achieved. If you're someone who's saving up for their deposit and you're not quite there yet, but you've saved 5K, 10K, or even like a couple of £100, like that is an achievement and you're on your way to achieving your goal. So I think you can stop and reflect and give yourself some positivity for what you've achieved. So yeah, if you're saving this year, let me know how you plan on doing it in the comments below. And if you want more content like this, let me know what you want me to have a little rant about. And otherwise, like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.